Hello, I am so excited to be with you today, and thank you so much for spending a few moments out of your day with me today. I'm going to highlight a question that I received about discernment, being able to have better judgment, and provide a couple tips to help you in this particular topic. Now, I want to give a shout out to Holly. Holly, this is a great topic. I honestly could talk about this topic all day long. I mean all day long. I would say as a professional woman, I've worked as a manager, I'm a doctor, I've been in different leadership and senior leadership roles. This topic of discernment and the ability to judge and etc. is probably one of the most important topics that anyone that is a professional, particularly as a professional woman, really needs to gain a good grasp on. Because as many of you know, in our educational settings and even possibly as you were growing up, these are some of those skills that you're just not taught how to do. You kind of are, but in a professional setting, it looks a little bit different. If this is your first time meeting me, my name is Dr. Jacinta Lamantai. I am the CEO and founder of Excite Excellence Incorporated. As many of you know, I'm big about definitions and words. So I'm going to go to my favorite Oxford Languages Dictionary, and I'm going to tell you what this definition is so you and I can be on the same page and make sure that we are learning together. Okay, so the definition of discernment reads as follows. Discernment, ability to judge well. That's simple, right? No. It's not as simple as you think. The first tip I would say for you would be to, if discernment is something you're trying to get better at or judge people better, really it comes from experience, and that's where wisdom comes from. Now, depending on where you are in your specific journey, if you are not very experienced in your field or in your industry or in a specific situation that's going on, then you need to get that wisdom from someone else. You know, whether you're getting it from a mentor or potentially someone who has already been down this road before professionally or handled situations that have came up in the past, or working with a coach. Whatever it is you need to do, it's really important for you to get some form of wisdom. Because a lot of times that I've learned, particularly as it relates to discernment, that it comes from you learning. And this is one of the skills that I personally had a huge learning curve on when I started my career to where I am now. When I started my career, I didn't have a lot of discernment. I didn't have a lot of good judgment as it relates to how to handle things professionally. I developed it a lot over time and was able to get to where I am today, where I feel a lot more comfortable being more discerning and kind of judging and understanding situations that come up. So if you don't have that wisdom, you need to get that wisdom, find it, look for it, search for it. There's Google, there's YouTube, there's mentors, there's other people that have traveled down this road before. Don't feel like you have to pioneer your way and just deal with a situation you've never dealt with before. There's somebody out there, ladies, who has probably been through it before. I know personally for myself, I have dealt with some very friendly conversations, and I've dealt with some very unfriendly conversations, some contentious conversations, and managed them well enough to give you advice and give you some guidance on that. So think about who it is that you need to reach out to. Take a few moments. What do you need to do? Who do you need to call? Who can you reach out to? Get that knowledge. I focus on that because it's so important. Discernment really comes from wisdom. So find out who can help you. My next tip for you would be to learn as much as you can. Establish a really good knowledge base in your specific industry. As I mentioned, wisdom is important. We already got that out the way. You got to find it, you have to get it. But the knowledge part of it, a lot of that you can do on your own. So there's plenty of articles depending on your discipline. There's a lot of things that you can search on Google or whatever it is in your specific industry. Try to be that person that knows a lot and that has learned a lot about whatever the topic is. That will help give you some things to think about. So when those situations come up and you're not really sure how to judge it, you can say, well, I've read some articles, or I've read some research, or I've been able to view some content that kind of talks more about approaching this in this type of way. Maybe what you're telling me is not the best way, or perhaps maybe we can think of a different way. That's going to be really helpful for you as it relates to increasing that ability to judge and kind of understand right from wrong, or what may work or what may not work. So take a few moments to think about what are some of the publications, articles, groups, associations that you need to join that will help you learn a lot more. All right. Now, my next tip, which will be tip number, I think I'm on 3 now. Yes, on tip number 3. This one's a big one when it comes to wisdom, but I'm going to give you a tip that people don't talk about a lot when it relates to discernment. Are you ready? I'm ready to give you all of my secrets when it comes to this. Okay. Observe. You need to observe people and their trends. What do I mean by that? I have another video that I'm going to be recording here very soon that talks more about observing and maybe some gestures and things like that. I'm not going to go into it today. But what I want to tell you about discernment is if you take a few moments and put yourself in a situation where you're, let's say, observing a meeting, even if you're on Zoom and let's say people got their screens blacked out, you can't see them, you can still listen to what they say. So if you take a few moments and you really actively listen to what people are saying or how they're acting, or maybe they said, oh, I'll take care of this, and you find out a week later they still haven't taken care of it, or maybe weeks later they still haven't taken care of it. Observe. That tells you, if I tell Susie to do this, I know Susie probably is going to fluff and tell me she's going to take care of it, but in actuality, she's not. Or if I tell Mary, I need to get this done, I know Mary's going to do it. These are some of the things that come up a lot. And actually, I talked about it in one of my building your confidence videos. There's a part 1, 2, 3, and 4 about that external factor of someone relying on you. I'm not going to go into it right now, but check out the video. I'll link it in the description below. But really observe people and their trends, because you're collecting data. And so the more you're exposing yourself to people or your coworkers or your specific industry, then you start to see how people react and respond. And if that reaction and response that comes up from this person doesn't, 1, match with some of the experiences that some people have told you, or 2, doesn't coincide with maybe some articles or some research that you've done, then guess what? 3, you observe them and you're thinking, no, I don't think that's exactly correct. I think it's supposed to be addressed from this perspective. That can help you with gaining more discernment and being able to judge well, because the way you judge well is by being neutral and being fair and taking the information in and making the best educated decision based off of the facts that you have at the time. Sometimes situations will come up and you don't have all the facts. You just don't have them all. That's completely fine. But this is a great way for you to be able to start getting those. Now, my 4th tip for you when it comes to increasing your judgment and discernment in any industry that you're working in is to be careful who you are listening to. This somewhat ties into my first tip, which was to get the wisdom. If you don't have it, you need to find it. But it's a little bit different in this case, because if you have individuals that you are surrounding yourself with who are hypersensitive or exaggerate everything or try to make life just super stressful, everything's bad, you got Debbie Downer and Negative Nancy just, tag teaming you about all this issue, all that issue, be real careful about who you're dealing with, because those situations, when they come up, when you have those people talking in your ear, can distort your perception of what reality really should be, and it really impacts your judgment. I am telling you, ladies, I have seen this in all industries, and I have personally, ladies, dealt with this in management roles throughout my career. When you have other managers who are listening to people who are more negative, who are not being really supportive or proactive or wanting to help, they're really wanting to just put gas on fire. I've seen it. And I'm telling you, if you look in the news and you look at certain situations that come up, even the best of leaders sometimes let people talk in their ear that put them in a bad situation, and their company goes down, down, down. So this is a great skill to have. Just be mindful who you're talking to. If you know that this person is negative all the time, you need to just go boop, boop, and put it in one ear and out the other and let it go, and come up with some things to do to help you stop those conversations, which I'll talk about in another video. Probably in the confidence one I'm going to share with you in just a little bit, that talks more about some of those body languages and gestures and things like that to make that happen. But I hope this information was helpful. I want to know from you, what are some things that you may have struggled with as it relates to discernment or being able to judge well, that you're going to start improving today? Who are some people you're going to reach out to? What would you like to share? Put it in the comments below. I'd be happy to take a look at it and respond and give you any help that I can. So I hope this is helpful. Please like this video so more women out there can get this content. These are things, ladies, that I personally wish someone would have sat down and talked to me about a long time on my journey, but I had learned the hard way. And so my hard lessons will be your easy lessons, so you can just bypass it. So like this video, and if you are at a point where you want to get more help as it relates to being more discerning and more help with kind of judging better, then just chat with me. I'll put a link in the description below where you can schedule a call so we can talk about how we can potentially work together and I can help you on your journey. Until then, I will see you all in the next video.